All right, so as you can see here, I've highlighted the first 3 paragraphs in Letter from Birmingham Jail, and I read through these 3 times, and each time I rated how much I understood it. 10 being I think I got everything, 1 being I didn't get a single thing. So when you think of like your favorite song that you've ever heard, or a song that you never get sick of, you didn't catch everything the first time. You can't catch all the emotion, all the lyrics, all the poetry or excitement of the song in one listen through. That's why you keep listening to it forever, because it's amazing and you get something out of it every time. And just like with listening to music, rereading can be an excellent strategy to read something difficult and get more and more out of it. So Dr. King is an incredible writer. He is brilliant, and obviously it was important for him to be persuasive because this was, for Black rights, and no one cared to listen to him. But so he had to be extremely persuasive, always at the top of his game. So his writing is complex and sophisticated and incredibly wonderful. But because of that, it's a little hard to get through. So what I want you to do is read the first 3 paragraphs on your own 3 times. Rate your understanding after each read. So you can see for me, I rated mine a 6, and then an 8, and then a 10. So, yours might be lower. You don't feel like you have to get a 10 every time because it is challenging. But I promise the rereading will really help with this difficult text. So hit pause, read the first 3 paragraphs 3 times, and rate your understanding. I'll look for this score when you turn in this paper. So hit pause, read the first 3 paragraphs, and then we'll look at paragraph 4 together so you can see what your assignment is. All right, I'm assuming you paused. So now I want to go over the specifics of the assignment with the annotations and how you're going to be doing this rereads. I hope you feel like you understand the beginning, you've got a strong start. Now we're really getting into his main argument as he's sitting in jail trying to argue why he's fighting for what he's fighting for and why he believes in these nonviolent protests. So the first read through, as you can see on Canvas in the directions, is to summarize the main ideas, and you're going to annotate in purple. I do not have purple on the iPad, so we're going to go with just black, but you're going to annotate the main ideas in purple. So you can follow these annotations on your document. You may well ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, and so forth? Isn't negotiation a better path? You're exactly right in your call for negotiation. Indeed, this is the purpose of direct action. So I know direct action and negotiation, so I'm just going to abbreviate. So DA leads to N, and I'll just kind of connect these so I remember what they're going. So I know direct action leads to negotiation. Nonviolent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and establish such creative tension that a community that's consistently refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. It seeks to dramatize the issue so it can no longer be ignored. Okay, so tension, let's see, where's it mentioned here? Tension leads to negotiation. Wow. Can't spell. So, and direct action. So direct action leads to tension, which leads to negotiation. It seeks to dramatize, I already read that. I just referred to the creation of tension as part of the work of the nonviolent resistor. This may sound rather shocking, but I must confess I'm not afraid of the word tension. I've earnestly worked and preached against violent tension, but there's a type of constructive nonviolent tension. So I'm going to circle that just because I think nonviolence is important here. That's necessary for growth. Oh, okay. Necessary for growth. Nice. So I'm going to say nonviolent tension equals growth. Just as Socrates felt it was necessary to create tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal. Don't know what that meant, but we're just going to keep going. It's the first read-through. We must see the need of having nonviolent gadflies to create the kind of tension in society that will help men to rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. Oh, okay. This is like his goal then. We need to help men reach understanding in brotherhood. So I'm just going to put that as, so Dr. K's goal, boom. So the purpose of direct action is to create a situation. So crisis pact, it will inevitably open the door to negotiation. We therefore concur with you in your call for negotiation. Whew, okay, that was a lot. But I think I got the main ideas here. I didn't get everything, but I understand we need direct action to create tension, because that tension will lead to negotiation. And the goal of the negotiation is helping people be more understanding and not prejudiced. Okay, now the second read through, we're going to annotate in red, and is for ethos, pathos, and logos. How is he trying to be persuasive? And we're just going to read through again. You may well ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, and so forth? Isn't negotiation a better path? You're exactly right in your call for negotiation. Indeed, this is the purpose of direct action. Nonviolent direct action seeks to create a crisis and establish creative tension that a community has consistently refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. You can see I'm kind of skimming because I'm like, I don't really see anything here, and I've read it before, so you can go a little faster. It seeks so to dramatize the issue so it can no longer be ignored. I just referred to the creation of tension as part of the work of the nonviolent resistor. This may sound shocking, but I must confess I'm not afraid of the word tension. I don't see anything yet, so I'm just going to keep going. I've earnestly worked and preached against violent tension. Okay, so he's kind of throwing him himself as an authority, and that's ethos, when you appeal to authority. So he's an expert on protests and tension. So that's good to know. And makes him look like, I know what I'm talking about. I've done this a lot. So that's a great ethos. But there's a type of constructive nonviolent tension that's necessary for growth. Just as Socrates felt it was necessary to create tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal. Okay, still not totally sure on this Socrates thing, but what I do know is this is definitely a good appeal to logos and ethos, because Socrates, while I don't know what he's saying, he is a great scholar. So this makes Dr. King look very educated and reliable, because everyone's heard of Socrates and knows him, and like any smart person could understand this. So it's like, whoa, Dr. King's really smart, and he's referring to someone who's like famously brilliant. So this is like a really good persuasive tool to be like, look, it's just like Socrates said. All right, we'll keep going. We must see the need of having nonviolent gadflies to create the kind of tension in society that will help men to rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. Okay, who wouldn't want that, right? Like, love that. So that, I would say, is definitely pathos, because it melts your heart. How can you be against understanding and brotherhood? So the purpose of direct action is to create a situation so crisis pact will open the door to negotiation. We concur with you in your call for negotiation. Okay, so concur means agree. So that's kind of also an ethos move. Like, he's saying, so people who disagree with them, he's saying, you are right. We agree that negotiation is important. And anyone's going to be more willing to listen to you when you're like, yeah, you're right. Like, of course, you're going to be more open. So that's another good persuasive strategy. That's why he's saying that. Cool. Okay. Third read through. Here we go. We're going to have our minds blown as we think of application to real life. And this is in green. You may well ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, and so forth? Isn't negotiation a better path? You're exactly right in your call for negotiation. Indeed, this is the purpose of direct action. Nonviolent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and establish such creative tension that a community that's consistently refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. Okay, forced to confront the issue. This reminds me so much of George Floyd. So this isn't exactly like applying it to my own life, but I'm seeing this in the real world. People had enough, and we're like, we have to deal with this now. We have to protest, even if you're saying we can't. So we've definitely seen this pattern again. You know, this is 60 years later. It seeks to dramatize the issue so it can no longer be ignored. I just referred to the creation of tension as part of the work of the nonviolent resistor. This may sound shocking, but I must confess I'm not afraid of the word tension. I've earnestly worked and preached against violent tension. There's a type of constructive nonviolent tension that's necessary for growth. Okay, I love when he says, so I'm not afraid of the word tension and it's necessary for growth. I feel like, let's see, where can I fit this in? I'm going to put it over here. I must navigate tension. So we can't, I feel like a lot of times we want to avoid it. Don't talk politics. Don't make people uncomfortable. But really, we have to navigate this tension. We have to talk about it. We have to work through it because that's where the growth comes in, not by ignoring it. So I need to learn to be less uncomfortable, or I guess not to not be uncomfortable, but to work through being uncomfortable and be like, okay, why do I feel uncomfortable? Let's deal with it. So that's what I could apply to myself. And then I've got the Socrates part. I'm just going to skim over that. Let's see. To create the kind of tension society will help them rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. I'm going to also put that as my goal. So it's Dr. King's goal, and it's my goal too. That's a great goal to have, is understanding and brotherhood. So the purpose of direct actions create a situation so crisis-packed it will inevitably open the door to negotiation. We concur in your call for negotiation. Okay, so you can see I'm not reading every single word every time. You kind of skim through as you're looking for whatever you're looking for, but you pick up new things along the way. And all of a sudden, this went from like a really hard old text to like, I see what you're doing here. I don't understand every word, but I get it, and I can see how it applies. So that's what you're going to be doing with this assignment. You're going to follow the same pattern, but you're going to take it one page at a time. So you're going to read this paragraph on page 2. So you'll just read this one, then you'll read the second one, and this one goes on to the next page. So you'll just read these 2 paragraphs, then you'll scroll to the bottom, and there's questions about page 2. You'll answer, what rhetorical appeals did he use, and how does this apply? So instead of, on your Google Doc, you'll need to put a comment with every annotation so I know why you highlighted it. But you also need to explain in like a full sentence, because the comments are just quick notes. Here you'll put in a full sentence, like this is how it is ethos, this is how it's logos or pathos or whatever, and then explain in just more detail how you can apply it, because it's hard to like be super detailed when you're just annotating. And then you'll go back and you'll start page 3. So you'll do this paragraph, 2, 3, and 4, and then this one goes on to the next page, so you'll stop there. Go down and answer the page 3 questions, which are exactly the same. They're just referencing the page 3 text. And then you'll do the same thing to finish it up with 1, 2, 3 paragraphs at the end. And then you'll go down and answer the questions for paragraph 4. Sorry, it's cut off a little bit. Same questions every time. What rhetorical appeals and how can you apply it? So this is your assignment. Take your time. I imagine it'll take about 10 minutes per page for 3 read-throughs is what it usually is when I do it in class live. So just plan on that as you're working through it. And I hope you enjoy this incredibly famous and important United States text.